So lately we've seen in the news that McDonald's are going down the line of fibre-based packaging. Very lately we've seen Dunkin' Donuts has said that that's going to do the same thing. What is our feeling on being able to cope with the coatings and barriers? I think we'll start with you, Fredrik, on that.
I mean, that's sort of the holy grail right now when it comes to sustainable packaging, to have renewable barriers. And also from a circularity aspect, that you have monomaterial. If you can have the wood fiber-based packaging and also have a barrier made from the same material, then it's much easier to recycle and it spins on the circularity of the material. So there's a lot of work going on focusing on finding new barriers. One track that's a lot of focusing around on the research side is nanocellulose. They use the smallest part of the wood and do barriers from that. I mean, nanocellulose is, over the last 10 years, gone from something that was really on the research stage. When we built the first nanocellulose pilot back in 2011, it wasn't commercially available. Now, fast forward 6-7 years later, you actually have nanocellulose within board products actually on the market. At this stage, it's mainly to increase the strength and make a better product. But the next frontier in nanocellulose is actually making barriers.
Elina, anything to add on that?
Yeah, we have a lot of research going on at VTT related to nanocellulose and also some other barriers. We know that it is not easy material for barrier because, well, we will get a good oxygen barrier, but the water is more difficult. So very often I think that if we are thinking about films, then we have to combine different kind of materials to get all these properties what we need.
Johan, anything to add on the nanocellulose front?
Yeah, nanocellulose is of course very interesting when it comes to barrier and barrier properties, and then other things that is interested with nanocellulose is of course to make strong and light material. So there is, you see it in both packaging and in paper, and this is of course about the particle size and the surface area of the particle itself. We are actually when talking about nanocellulose, that's a huge range of different material that you cover under nanocelluloses. What we have been working on lately is what is called MCC, microcrystallized cellulose. And we have a cooperation with Aalto University from Finland. They had developed a system called Aalto Cell. It's a totally new way of making this MCC. But now with the new way of making in a more easier way to make this, it opens up a lot of new opportunities. For example, animal feed. If you can start to use it there, the market will grow a lot, and it's a very interesting field.
And you really see this new application coming now, so coming closer and closer to the real application. And one thing that we are doing right now also to help the industry using this type of wide range of nanocellulose materials, that we build a mobile factory that actually fits on 2 trucks. You can bring it out to the different mill and actually make trials there, just to help to speed up this development. So that's a very, very interesting thing to help the industry find new uses of their raw material.
Yeah. Excellent. Esa, any comments on those subjects, coatings, barriers?
Yeah, not so much what comes to the technology, but there's a lot of R&D work being done in biobarriers. And it's a good thing because there is a growing market demand for those. If you think about what is happening in the UK, there's a lot of discussion whether there should be a extra tax for the single-use carton cups where you use non-recyclable barrier. And if there will be a tax set on that kind of a product, it will for sure lower the threshold for the industry to switch from the plastic-based barriers to biodegradable bio-based barriers. And that kind of development we should also see elsewhere in the EU.
There is definitely one benefit from all the discussion is indeed to go mono-material, as it was said by Fredrik, because that would be indeed a way to be fully circular, bio-based, recyclable, etc. There is another element we should keep in mind where I think this industry might have an asset, an advantage, is in terms of food contact and food safety. If we do it right, I mean, we all remember of the stories about bisphenol A and these kind of substances that we could find in plastic bulbs for babies, etc. So if we can do it right in our packaging, including with the layers and the barriers that we would put in there, we can also promote probably this food safety and the value of protecting food in a good way for human beings. And that's what we should put into our mindset and our approach when it comes to barriers and layers.